Hey, what's up everybody? Hope you're having a good day. I'm really stoked to share a brand new pack in our explosions category, and this is our first ever aerial explosions pack. It's perfect for any kind of warfare scene, naval or land-based, sci-fi or realistic. You can also use these for smaller sized explosions up higher on buildings or other elements in your scene. These are 25 different VDB files, so you can use them in almost any render engine or 3D application. They're going to save you a lot of time since you're not going to have to deal with caching and simming and tweaking everything. So just import the file and you have a beautiful, super realistic explosion. We just recently released a new fire pack, and I made a tutorial on that one on how to set it up in Redshift and Octane. And with the explosions, it's pretty similar, except for we do have a couple other channels to be aware of. So with the fire, all we had was a temperature channel. We didn't have any smoke with it. But if we click our RS volume and look at the information on these explosions, we have density, scatter, and temperature. So I'll put a link below to that tutorial. You can go over the fire one to get the basics. But for the explosions, the one thing you're going to have to do is worry about the smoke. So under scatter, under the channel is where you're going to put the smoke, and that is the density channel. So you would go to presets, you go to RS volume, and you go to density. Once you add that, let's fire up a render quick. So under the scatter channel, we have scatter coefficient, which you can play around with. You'll notice that we're getting some different looks on this smoke here. You can also play with the tint if you want to make it brighter or darker, and you can play with this color gradient ramp as well. The other thing you can do for the smoke is to play with your absorption. So the absorption coefficient is going to make it denser or thinner and wispier and lighter. So you can play with the scatter and the absorption to play with the smoke, but you'll notice that for the fire and the explosion part, it's not doing anything. That is because we need to go down to the emission channel. So under emission, under channel, we would go to RS volume and we would add the temperature here, and that contains all the temperature and the heat data for this explosion. So right now we have the emission mode set to black body, which it is by default. And if you do that, you can play with the temperature. You can play with the temperature of this explosion, and you can play with the offset as well. So these have a pretty huge effect on what this is going to look like. And you can also play with the emission scale. So you would play around with these three settings to really dial this in. If you wanted to change this to sort of a magic look with maybe some neon green look, maybe some energy, you could change this emission mode from black body to color ramp, and then you could change this color ramp to have whatever color you want for this explosion. But that's a quick overview of how you set it up in Redshift. It will be very similar in other render engines as well. That is our Aerial Explosions pack. I really think you're going to like it. Check it out at thepixellab.net, and we'll talk to you next time. Ciao.